Morning, David. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Pretty good.
Please say again. Please say again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you pretty well. Thank you.
Rất nghe tiếng này khổ không ạ? Khổ.
Let me know when I should start, okay?
Yes.
No problem. Thank you.
Xíu nha. Mình di chuyển lên cái kênh của phím điện, bởi vì để thầy mình nhìn camera nó lớp vắng ấy, thì nó hơi kỳ. Ở đây mình có một cái hàng. Chẳng hạn như tối qua thì người làm thì đây thì em thấy em thầy ngồi đầu hàng đầu luôn. Đúng không Phan? Em thì đâu anh xin lỗi. Chị ơi, chắc là mình phải có mình lên hàng trên giúp em nha, để nhìn cái camera nó đỡ trống á. Dạ các anh chị ơi, mình lên hàng trên ngồi đi các anh chị, để mình tương tác với thầy cho nó đông á, đừng có để trống quá. Dạ.
Okay, we can start now.
Oh, shall we?
Yes.
Thank you. It's so great. Good morning, everyone. All the teacher, faculties, students, and everyone interested in this topic. I'm super honored and happy to present this sharing again with all of my friends at GIC. So let me share my screen first. Sorry. Because once I share the screen, I kind of cannot see you guys anymore. So, all right. So before I start, I would like to let everyone knows that, can everyone see the screen right now? Well, I just want to make sure that everyone can see my share screen.
Yes, baby.
Oh, okay, sounds great. Including those online, those participants, online participants can see my screen as well. Well, I take it as a yes. So today we will talk about how to prepare the discussion conclusion in the manuscript preparation. Usually when I conduct this class, I will ask everyone to introduce yourselves. But last time when I tried to do that, I feel like we have some time strain over here. So I kind of will move forward. But still, this class is very interactive, meaning that when you see any problem, any questions, stop me anytime if needed. A very quick, brief self-introduction about myself. My name is Cheng. Just call me by Calvin, it's fine. I was an adjunct professor in the MCPHS in Boston. I'm right now in Boston as well, and also an adjunct faculty in National Yangming University in Taiwan as well. So it's definitely my great opportunity, and I'm so happy to share this with all of you. I graduated from school in 2012. So after like 11 years practicing and research, it's kind of this is a time to share what I learned from writing the discussion. So so today we will go through a quick preface, and I will show a very brief vignettes, a short story. It's our previous study, and then because I need to provide some background for you, then we can start to write a discussion, prepare, and then do the structure, talk about what's the structure of the discussion, and then use that example to critique it. Then we will take like 10-minute break or 15-minute break. And after that, we resume the course talking about the writing skills. Today I'm going to share like 3 or 4 skills, how to prepare the paragraph, how to prepare the writing logic flow from nouns to unknowns. We may not have the time to talk about project reason, and then we will talk about cover later as well. So again, feel free to stop me anytime, and if you have any question, raise your hand and tell me what's your name and then tell me your questions. If you have anything that's not clear, I'm happy to stop and discuss again. Everything okay? Then we will stop.
Yeah.
Okay. So
tiếng Anh thầy rõ đúng không? Không cần phiên dịch ha. Nếu nào không hiểu thì có thể stop thầy là tôi sẽ dịch cho. Tóm tắt lại cái tiếng nhận thì không. Okay,
xin lỗi các bạn tôi làm việc ở Việt Nam mà chỉ 2 năm thôi. Trước khi làm việc ở bệnh viện Xuyên Bắc, nhưng mà sau về Mỹ, Quân nhiều tiếng Việt rồi, cho nên bây giờ không nói tiếng Việt nhiều. Chắc chỉ nói bằng tiếng Anh thôi. Xin lỗi các bạn nha. So let's talk about what is discussion. So it's actually a key question though. Why we know it's very standardized from an introduction, method, result, discussion. But think about that. Why do we, and by the way, discussion usually accounts for maybe 30% or 40% of word counts in a manuscript. Let's say you have a paper, an article, 3,000 words. You roughly will spend like 700 to 1,000 words on discussion. So discussion is actually very, very lengthy. So why do we need to write a discussion? And what is the discussion? So this is the number one key concept. When you write in a manuscript, you are selling your product to editor. You are a salesman. So this is very important. Like you are a salesman. This is part of sales. You are selling your product, your work, your research to the editors. It's like when you are selling a car, you want your potential customers to buy a car. And what a potential buyer would do? Well, he is an editor, but he is not expert in every field. So the next thing he will do is ask all the reviewers, give them a professional opinion.
Nắng không mày, nắng không? Nắng ở đây áo khoác theo. Nắng à? Mở cốp.
Cốp này không biết thứ nhất thì người ta đè cái gì nó mở.
Nắng lấy cái áo khoác à.
Đây là mấy cái nón là được.
Không có nón nào áo khoác.
Sorry, should I post
it?
Nón hàng hiệu.
Dính nước sơn.
Okay. Or can everyone hear me now? Just want to confirm again. Oh, because the host mute everyone, so kind of like I cannot hear everyone's feedback as well. But okay. No, I just want to confirm like everyone can hear me, right? Because I cannot hear you.
Recording in progress.
So if everyone can hear me, then I will continue, resume the course. Is that okay? Okay. So again, as I say, that writing the manuscript is part of the sale. So you want to sell your car to the reviewer, sorry, to the editor. And editors ask professional opinions from reviewers, give him some ideas. Hey, is this a good car to buy? And once they have those feedbacks from the reviewers, the editor can make a decision. You want to accept or major revision or minor revision or reject. So that's the whole process. So for the authors, for the writers, it's super, super important for you to have your hard work published. So the whole process is you just want to sell your manuscript, your hard work research to the editor. So discussion actually give you a chance to say something. It's a channel to have a professional dialogue between you and the other scientists. It's also a time you can interpret, elaborate the understandings of your products, your results. Because you are actually a salesman. Hey, they have a very good wheel. This car is very safe. Oh, this engine is very, very good. And well, the oil, everything. So this is a time you tell the details about your research. That's the whole purpose of the discussion. Is that clear? So a thoughtful discussion should be very clear and should clearly express authors' attitudes toward what, to interpret the results, and also erase the potential concerns. Also successfully defend the limitations and point out the future directions. So think about that. That's actually the structure inside your discussion. A good salesman, what a good salesman would do. A good salesman will address the potential downsides of the work even before the potential buyer asks. Is that correct? Right? When you buy a car, like the buyers have some concern. Oh, I'm so worried, like the airbag is not big enough. Well, you know this is the downside of your work. You should address those potential concerns even before the reader asks. And here, that's the room, the space for you to do so. So again, let's think about this. What's the normal way when we prepare the manuscript? Well, in the previous class, we already know like we will prepare a table, figures, and then start to write a method. Method is the easiest part because you just write what you already did. Results is very easy too because you already have table figures. So you just interpret, explain those table figures one by one. Now it gets harder and harder. Discussion is really hard. Introductions is even harder. Then put all those stuff into a 250 word abstract. That is a challenge. So usually that's the order to prepare manuscript. So let's jump into our first example, or the only example today. It's a paper talking about the lung cancer mortality of residents living near petrochemical industrial complex. It's a meta-analysis. Let me do a quick survey here. Anyone has ever done the meta-analysis in the class? Please raise your hand. Or anyone has ever heard about meta-analysis? Yeah, it should be like, come on. Yeah, I assume everyone heard about it. Thank you. Thanks for the hands. I assume everyone at least heard about the meta-analysis. So what is this meta-analysis about? It looks like the outcome is lung cancer mortality. And the populations are residents. And the exposure is those who lives near petrochemical industrial complex, or we call it PIC, a PIC. People who live close to a PIC. Probably is a comparison between the lung cancer mortality for those who live close to the PIC versus those who are not living close to PICs. Right? So in your just by reading the title, you probably have some imaginations here. So what is this article about? And it's a meta-analysis. So meta-analysis is like a systemic review, but they have a very structural analysis method. If you've ever seen this pyramids, it's actually summarized results, more robust than test control study or cohort studies. Well, however, I'm not saying cohort study or case control studies or RCTs are not important. They're actually very, very important. In this case, I just use a meta-analysis as an example. All right. I kind of can take a risk. Now is your show time. So for those who just raised their hand saying like they heard about the meta-analysis, or those who didn't hear about meta-analysis, that's fine too. So what's your expected figure 1? This is exactly what reviewer doing, to be very honest. When I am a reviewer, when I'm an editor, just by reading the title, I already have something in my mind. I'm expecting to see figure 1 like 1 what, figure 2 like 1 what, figure 3 like 1 what, and table 1, table 2, table 3. I'm expecting you to tell me something. I already have something in my mind as a reviewers or as an editors. Usually that's the case. Well, think about that. If you are a buyer to buy a car, you have something in your mind as well. What do you want for your car? I want it what. I want it what. You definitely have something in your mind. So same thing. So you guys are reviewers or potential editors. Let's say what is expected figure 1 in the meta-analysis. Prisma, okay, I get an answer from Feng. Can Feng explain a little bit more what is Prisma flowchart? Feng tell us the answer is C.
The Prisma flowchart will show you the process you include and exclude the articles. The process you recruit the article and the way you got the data.
Awesome. Thanks for exactly. So the answer is C. That's exactly what everyone is looking for. This is a Prisma flowchart. Include 4 steps: identification, screening, eligibility, and inclusion. So basically, after reviewing all those articles, you can downsize the articles from more than 1,000 to 7 papers. So at the end of the day, they included 7 papers and with 13 data points. So they extract 13 data points from the 7 papers. That's what they did. Good job. Awesome job. Thank you. Then next question. What do readers expect to see on table 1? A, definition of PIC. B, some basic characteristic of included patients. Or here, I mean residents. Or C, detailed information of lung cancer. Or D, some basic characteristics of selected paper. Anyone? Anyone who can help the class?
Okay, we select D, some basic characteristic of selected papers.
Awesome. Can I have your name?
Yeah, my name is Cheng
Jim from
UNP.
UMP. Thank you. Awesome job. Look like long time Nhạc. Nhạc has different answer. B. Nhạc, do you want to explain a little bit? Why do you think it's B? Thanks, Jim, by the way. Thank you. But it looks like Nhạc has different answer. He thinks it's B. And I'm inviting Nhạc to explain why he thinks it's B.
Anh chị nào trong quy thì trả lời nhé. Các vị chú ý nha, chúng ta đã có điều có ví dụ đáp đầu tiên là Prisma, sau đó là cái gì table. Thì cái reviewer đã đọc cái bài của mình biết meta analysis thì lập tức nó có nguyên một chục cái các cái quy định cái gì xuất hiện trên cái bảng đó là cái gì? Thầy đang hỏi là cái bản đầu tiên đó, reviewer hay người đọc gọi là thì nó theo logic template thôi, là bắt buộc phải là cái B cái này đó. Giờ mà có một anh chị là trả lời B thì họ viết lên và giải thích cho thầy tại sao chọn B. Nếu từ chọn B á, là mình hay quen với cái nghiên cứu của mình, nghiên cứu trên một cái nghiên cứu nhỏ, nghiên cứu trên bệnh nhân, mô tả bệnh nhân. Còn đây là nghiên cứu các cái nghiên cứu khác, tập hợp các bài báo lại, review, meta analysis, cho nên mình sẽ chọn đi. Và anh chị nào chọn B thì giải thích hơn để coi mình có nhầm lẫn.
Thank you. Thanks for the explanation. Yeah, further explain because table 1 should offer some information, basic information on the basic characteristics, and it should be an overview picture about the whole study, which is totally correct. This is what NGHIêN says. Ngô Thái Nhạc says that, which is totally correct. The only difference between B and D, both B and D are basic characteristics. The only difference is what kind of basic characteristics. The B is included patients, here means the residents. That kind of information in meta-analysis, unfortunately, the author didn't obtain. The author didn't have the information about individual patients. As you can clearly see from the table, figure 1, you only have the 7 selected paper. You only have the information about the paper, right? So you kind of want to summarize the results from this 7 paper, or let's say 13 data points. So you can only provide the basic information about these 13 data points rather than the individual residents. That's why the answer is D. Good. So thanks for everyone's contribution. Yes, exactly. So table 1 actually provide the basic characteristics, A, B, C, everyone, and what kind of population, and the definition of the PIC, and who are the reference area, who is a study group, and what's the outcome, how do they identify the outcome, diagnosis by ICD-9 or what. So those are details about every study. Good job. Well, figure 2 obviously is a key figure. So that's the key findings about the study. This is very standardized meta-analysis. So they summarize the 13 population published study, study population, and get a summarized result of the 1.03. 95% confidence interval is 0.98 to 1.09. Is here anyone wanna explain what this number meaning? What does that mean, 1.03? Let's do step by step. Instead of talking about 95% confidence interval, what is this relative risk or risk ratio of 1.03 means in this paper? Well, we know that we are doing the lung cancer mortality for those who live close to the PIC, petrochemical industrial complex. And we are comparing those who live close to the PIC versus those who don't live close to PIC. And the risk ratio is at 1.03. I need someone to tell me, how do you interpret this 1.03?
Maybe let me explain that about what I've been talking about of your presentation at the beginning before we jump into the discussion. Okay?
Yeah.
Thầy Kevin là chắc cái phần bài luận, cho nên đang cố gắng giúp chúng ta hiểu từ đầu topic cho đến cái introduction cho đến cái result, mình hiểu hết cái nghiên cứu của bài báo, đó là bài của thầy. Thì sau đó hiểu rồi thì tới cái phần discussion mình mới hiểu là thầy discuss cái gì, discuss như thế nào. Thì bây giờ thầy đang cố gắng hỏi mình có hiểu cái kết quả không đã. Tại vì mình hiểu kết quả rồi, cái phần thầy tạo luận á, thì mình mới biết là thầy bảo hiểu gì, và luận đi chứng minh điều gì. Đó thì hồi nãy là chúng ta đi qua cái phần tìm bài báo rồi nè, đi qua cái phần Prisma chart, các cái nghiên cứu này. Bây giờ từ những cái bài báo 7 bài báo thì nghiên cứu chạy ra kết quả này. Thì trong cái bản kết quả này thì hôm qua mình đã học với thầy thầy Trúc rồi đó, là cách đọc bản kết quả. Thì bây giờ thầy đang cố gắng hỏi mình các cái NN là cái gì để mình hiểu kết quả, xong đã xử lý discussion tại sao thầy đó. Cho nên nó khó là gì thầy dạy cái đúng, nhưng nó phải bao gồm cả dẫn cho mình đến tu viện chỗ này. Cho nên cố gắng phải theo cái chỗ này cho được, thì đến cái phần discussion mình mới hiểu tại sao thầy discussion kiểu đó, và thậm chí họ đồng ý cho ra. Okay, I just explained exactly what you want them to understand
Thank you.
The results of discussion.
This is just a beginning preparation. After that, we will go to the discussion very soon. Yeah, so but this is something I need someone help me. Can anyone help the class and tell everyone what 1.03 means here?
1.03. Okay.
Bottom right, like the summarized result. You do a meta-analysis, right? You summarize all 30 paper and get this 1.03. What does that mean? 1.03.
I think the interpretation of the R is that people living near the PIC have risk of lung cancer higher 1.03 than people not living near PIC.
Rồi mình phải nhớ cái chữ overall nha. Cái dòng overall là cái dòng kết quả mình tìm ra đó. Mình phải nhấn cái chữ overall trước, tại vì nó là tập hợp của tất cả các bài báo đó đó. Mỗi bài là một chỉ số giải thích lại cho thầy nghe. Thì đó quên nhắc lại cái overall. Cái kết quả này mình tổng hợp được những cái gì giải thích lại cho thầy.
Awesome job. That's exactly correct. Can I have your name? Sorry. Hold on a second. I have more questions for you. Can I have your name, by the way?
My name is Dung, I'm former VIòng T. My name is NGHIêN.
Cái gì?
Win, huh? Sorry. Since you are so good at this, one more thing for you. Can you help everyone to interpret this 95% confidence interval as well?
So I think the 95-minute interval is like this result you found. Because we choose the interval is 25%. If you make research 100 times, you have 95 times found the result like this. I just think about it.
Awesome job. And a quick question for you, follow-up question for you. For this result, 0.98 to 1.09, is this significant or not significant? Statistically speaking, is it significant or not significant?
I think it's not significant because the 95% confidence interval include one organic. Really think this is not good.
Awesome job. Thank you. That's a good job. Thanks a lot. Does everyone clear here?
Mọi người rõ chưa? Đây là đọc cái quả thống kê đó. Đi ngang số 1.
So let me summarize here. We just tell everyone that the lung cancer mortality, we are not talking about incidence. We are not talking about the prevalence. We are talking about mortality. It's on the title. The title already says lung cancer mortality. The mortality risk of lung cancer is 1.03 times higher for those who live close to PIC versus who do not live in PIC. However, the 95% confidence interval is not statistically significant. All right, remember this result. Let's see how will we write a conclusion later. Cool. Okay, so this is the table, figure 2. Figure 3. they do additional analysis. They point out every study on this figure. The x-axis says the starting year of follow-up, because those may be a cohort study. So they will start to follow those patients, residents, from a year and then cross the 20, 30 years. So the x-axis depicts the starting years of follow-up. The y-axis depicts the relative risk or risk ratio in log scale in each study. The size of the study shows how much the study is weighted. Or you take it the other way, how many populations in these studies. So this is a big study or it's a smaller study. So it's a smaller, this is a big study with a lot of population. Or it's more correctly saying heavier weighted. And they found that if you have a study starting year is earlier, the relative risk is actually will be higher. If you have a study conducted later, then the risk will be smaller. That's what the picture says. And then you can further do a statistical analysis and see if this is statistically significant. And the answer is not shown on the picture, but the answer is yes. They say it's significant, meaning the latest study or latest follow-up study has a lower relative risk of lung cancer mortality. That's the additional finding in this meta-analysis. Table 2 is another table to do a subgroup analysis. They want to see this risk will be more significant in males or in females. In Asia, in United States, in European countries, how's the effects in different subgroups? So they do another subgroup analysis. That's their secondary result. Additionally, they also conduct another study. They depict all the study, like study G, study IJM, study group K, or study H, and depict the follow-up periods about this study. And then in corresponding color, let's say study A and B is from Taiwan. And then what's the regulation about the air pollution, like PM10, total suspended particle? What's the regulation in Taiwan in what year? And in Taiwan in what year? What's the regulations? And for example, for the study CDEF is from the States. And what's the regulation of air pollution in the States? Anyone who get the sense that why do they do this additional analysis? Anyone who want to share the ideas or any idea? Why out of sudden, I thought we are doing a meta-analysis, but why there's a supplementary figure showing this kind of information? Ý của tôi là nghiên cứu lại chỉ là meta-analysis thôi nè. Nhưng mà tại sao trong meta-analysis biến thành là không có figure này? Nhưng mà tại sao ở cái này, cái nghiên cứu có figure này? Có ai muốn trả lời không?
Ok. Bây giờ đây là một cái hình mà supplementary figure. Thầy tự cho vô. Tức là nó không nằm trong cái kết quả meta-analysis của mình, không nằm trong các nghiên cứu của người ta. Mà đây là thầy lấy thêm cái data về cái vấn đề là chất lượng khí theo cái tiêu chuẩn các cái vùng đó theo thời gian trước thời điểm nghiên cứu luôn, các nghiên cứu đó để cho cái này là đương nhiên thêm, nhưng nó lại là cái chính giúp giải thích được cái kết quả của cái tổng hợp gồm của người ta ra. Thì thầy đang hỏi là mọi người tại sao có cái Bắt nó
Cho nên em nghĩ chắc là bởi vì lúc Mạnh thì có nói đó là các cái nghiên cứu hoàn thành về tính trước đó, thì cái cơ mà
Lăng
theo về sau đó, và trong đây chất lượng nghiên cứu rất là thầy ở đâu về bị ung thư thấp thì theo thời gian thì cái chất lượng không khí như là hồi xưa thì nó 150 thì nó có vẻ nó ô nhiễm hơn, càng về sau thì các chỉ số nó có vẻ nó thấp hơn, cho nên là nó có thể dùng cái này để đạt cái do tại sao mà cái của mình có một cái lên cái đều nhau.
Okay. So you explain about the quality of the air in the past more severe than now. So the reason why in the past the risk of lung cancer is higher than recent study.
Awesome job. Can I have a name, please?
Tên gì? Đúng rồi. Phượng.
Phượng hả?
Phượng.
Phượng. Yeah, that's actually a very, very awesome answer. It's kind of like trying to echoing or answering this figure 3. They want to say some story. Well, unfortunately, they kind of have no exposure data from the original articles. So the only thing they can do is list out all those regulations, trying to hinting and pointing out or explaining why this figure is reasonable. That's their plan. Exactly. See, you guys are excellent reviewers. When you see that, you can clearly see through that. Let me ask an additional question. When you see those table and figures, don't you expect that the authors will explain and say something in the discussion? You do, right? That's exactly what you expect the author will say in the discussion. Exactly. So yeah, this is our vignette. Kind of summary. We kind of get the idea what this paper about. Now we need to start to write a discussion. Before we write a discussion, the first step is to prepare. Again, writing a manuscript is definitely a teamwork. It's not just a first author's job. The number one thing you need to do for the preparation is host an in-house discussion, or maybe host a lot of in-house discussion. Before you start to write the discussion, or maybe even the manuscript, please discuss with your PI, with your teammates, with all your colleagues about your author's position. Or how do you display all those table figures. So during the in-house discussions, you need to interpret the result, discuss the way to present the results, which one should be table 1, which one should be table 2, so on and so forth. Explore the alternative explanation. This is called falsification. Besides this explanation, is there any other way that we can see these results? Falsification. And then bring the understanding of the result to a different level. So you kind of need to know inside out and try to interpret the result correctly, or as close to the truth as possible. Again, at the very beginning, I tell you, this is a sell game. You are selling your story. You need to prepare a storyline to sell to the editor. Like the figure 3 and the supplementary figure, we are preparing a storyline. We are preparing to tell the editor, this is a lie, and there's no surprise. We prepare one by one to tell our story. So also this is a chance, opportunity for you to have some background knowledge and to inspire a deeper understanding of the results. So let's see how will we write this discussion. So discussion is definitely having a structure. There is a structure of a discussion, and it's actually very standardized. Don't try any very novel way, different ways. because all scholars are trained in this way. We kind of very used to accepting new stuff from this structure. The first paragraph is almost always talking about the significance of the paper. Well, that's exactly a lot of international scholars like to say. To our best knowledge, this is the first. That's exactly talking about the significance, isn't it? That's a significance. And what's the next paragraph? Talking about the strength. Well, think about that. Yeah, that's what we say. Our results are solid and robust. Oh, we always talk about that. Yeah, exactly. That's the second paragraph, talking about the strength, the evidence is strong. What the third paragraph will look like, it will be an in-depth discussion on the findings. For example, in this paper, Wing just told us it's non-significant. Are you curious why this is not significant? What's the author's attitude? Do you believe there is an association or no association? That I'm expecting to see this discussion in the third paragraph. And a lot of international scholars like to do in this paragraph is to compare the study with the other study. That should happen in this paragraph as well. The fourth paragraph is almost always the limitations, talking about what's the limitation of the study. And a very final one, a short one, conclusion. Just reiterate again what's the significance and applications. So again, significance, strength, in-depth discussion, limitations, conclusion. Again, significance, strength, in-depth discussion, limitations, conclusion. It could be more than 5, could be 6, 7, 8. You can have 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs on limitations. You can have 2, 3 paragraphs in the in-depth discussion as well. You can have more. But by order, these are 5 things you need to mention in discussion. Don't change the order. You will mess up your manuscript. Just follow this order and write these 5 things. It could be more paragraphs, but you need to mention these 5 things. That's the key. If you are still like sleepy, this is time to wake up. This is the number 1 thing you need to take home. 5 things in the discussion: significance, strength, in-depth discussion, limitations, conclusions. The next 40 minutes, I think we can stop by 10 p.m. But the next 45 minutes are focusing on these 5 things totally. So we only talk about these 5 things in the next 45 minutes. Good. Any question, problems, concerns, discussion? Okay, again, significance, including the major findings: significance, strength, in-depth discussion, limitation, conclusions. Okay, let's look our example. Help me to assign 1 participant to read this for me for the class. Anyone who wanna read this for the class? I need some volunteers. Thank you.
To our best knowledge, this is the first meta-analysis that estimated the poor RR of lung cancer mortality for residents living nearby the PICs. We aggravated lung cancer risk for 13 study groups from 7 published papers in the US, the UK, Italy, and Taiwan. Based on these studies, people living in the PICs have higher lung cancer mortality risks than residents in non-PICs by a factor of 1.03. Despite such associations didn't reach statistically significant 95% confidence interval 0.98 to 1.09. Yes.
Tiếp theo nè, có nhiều hơn.
Continue, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Second tiếp theo là
Stratification analysis by different characteristics, such as sex and ethnicity, did not change the magnitude of this association. In contrast, the starting years of follow-up affected the association between lung cancer mortality and exposure to PICs by a factor of 0.874. That is, the estimated rate of lung cancer mortality was higher among subjects recruited in earlier periods, and the risk decreased by 12.6% if the year follow-up started 1 year later.
Rồi quá. Thank you. Thank you. That's awesome. Does everyone understand clearly? Any question here? Then my turn to ask a question. So what is the delivered message? This is their first paragraph in discussion. So what is this 2 paragraph talking about? To our best knowledge, but this is the first one, and from a lot of countries, 13 study groups, and the result is 1.03, but not statistically significant. And then subgroup analysis doesn't change anything. It's still the same. But figure 3, the starting year will be a factor. So those subjects recruited in the earlier period will have higher risk. And by the time it goes by, the risk decrease 12% per year. That's what they say. So what are the delivered messages? Significance, right? Significance of paper. To our knowledge, this is the first. Key findings, 1.03. Secondary findings in the subgroup, table 2, subgroup analysis, they are all the same. Figure 3, the trend decrease. And tertiary findings. Is that okay for everyone? Clear, right? That's very clear. So that's exactly what everyone expect to see on the first paragraph of the discussion, right? Significance, key findings. It could be the secondary finding, tertiary finding, but those are key findings. So far, so good. Any question? Now, let's talk about the more important thing. What is the author's attitude or his position regarding these non-statistically significant results? Well, you know what I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about this paragraph, this sentence specifically. The author says, based on this study, people living in a PIC had higher lung cancer mortality risk than residents in non-PICs by a factor of 1.03. Despite such association didn't reach statistically significant and give you the 95% confidence interval. What is author's attitude? A, authors are neutral, but leaning toward being confirmative of the association. Author is neutral, but he thinks there's an association. B, authors do not believe the association. C, authors strongly believe that there is an association. What do you guys think? A. I saw Wu say, A. Explain. Tell us why. Are you also muted, or can you tell everyone why?
Thì bây giờ trong cái câu ông viết như vậy đó, xác định coi là là ổng là tác giả đó, thì ổng đang muốn nói cái vấn đề gì là trung lực trung tính, xác nhận đó.
Cố phần là Vũ Thị Lãng Nhi nói là đáp án là A rồi. Nhưng mà let me ask Vũ Thị Lãng Nhi explain to everyone. He already posted on the meeting chat that is A. Can I ask Vũ Thị Lãng Nhi? Chị có thể giúp tất cả giải thích tại sao chị suy nghĩ là đáp án là A hả?
Because I think that first, the authors confirm that people living in the PIC had a higher lung cancer, but then the authors mentioned that this association didn't reach statistically significant. So I simply think that maybe the author tried to be neutral, but they mentioned first the association. So maybe they want to link towards being confirmative.
Thank you. That's exactly correct. I agree with that, and I believe most audience or most participants today kind of agree with this answer too. That's being said, there is no neutral language. Even the author says such a neutral thing here. We kind of understand that the author kind of leaning toward a confirmative answer, right? We actually can guess and then think about what author is trying to say. Let me give you a small challenge here. Exercise 1. How do you revise the sentence if you do not believe the association? Based on this is your short time. I give everyone 3 minutes. Let's say, well, the result is not significant, statistically speaking. You want to revise this sentence because you don't believe the association. What will you say?
Không, giống như bài tập viết lại, nhưng mà viết theo ý khác, chứ không phải là keep the same meaning. Chưa chắc. Bây giờ đây là cái câu á, là tin là có. Bây giờ mình đổi sang cái câu này, nội dung giống vậy đó, nhưng mà phải thể hiện cái ý là mình không tin có.
3 minutes exercise.
Bây giờ mọi người lấy bút ra viết sao cho câu hay đi rồi lên đọc với thầy. Là đọc là cái câu chuẩn luôn. Mình nói rằng là cái ý của mình, tại vì chúng ta đang học viết, cho nên là phải viết. Okay, Kevin, let's down a few minutes to write down.
Exactly. 3 minutes to write down.
We learn how to write, so let's practice writing.
Exactly.
Giống như là trong khi chúng ta viết, mặc dù chúng ta là positive, chúng ta ủng hộ, nhưng chúng ta phải viết ở cái lập trường trung tính, neutral, để cho người ta đừng có thấy mình mặc dù là mình positive, nhưng là một tác giả viết bài báo bao giờ thấy chung là